Hi, in this tutorial, we're going to use chemistry and categorically that's science paper 2 as an exam build-up lesson made for today. We're also going to discuss the balancing of chemical equation partially and at least trying to build the concept and relate it to the oncoming exams or in the past papers to develop self-reliance. The question says, write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction between sodium and oxygen. Sodium is an element on the periodic table which is classified as a reactive element as it belongs to group 1, also known as an alkali group. And when we talk about oxygen, this is one of the elements that belongs to a group on the periodic table called group 6, also known as chalcogenes. So we're going to find that sodium on the periodic table is capital letter N, small letter a, and its state symbol is solid, especially that it is known to be a metal, plus oxygen is always a gas and it is represented by capital letter O. It is a diatomic gas, so I'm going to say G. Then when making sodium and oxygen, we're going to find that sodium is in group 1, so it has a valence of 1, and oxygen is in group 6, it has a valence of 2, where it can get 2 electrons to be stable. If I exchange the valences, I'm going to obtain sodium times 2 is going to be sodium 2, then 1 times oxygen is going to be oxygen. Having done that, it means this is going to be in solid. Now we can balance. So I'm going to check that when balancing the chemical equation, there are 2 sides of the equation, on the left and on the right. So on the left, there is sodium, and this sodium has a 1, or implying it has nothing. This sodium here has a 2, which means the equation is unbalanced. If we check oxygen, it has a 2 here, and here it has a 1. So when starting to balance, since the substances on the reactant side, which is the left, are being able to be different from that on the right, which is the product, we should always start with the product. We're going to say oxygen here is 2. Since this oxygen doesn't have anything, we're going to balance it with a 2. Remember, this is a compound. So when balancing it, we only display a number in front, which is shared throughout. It means oxygen is 2. Sodium had a 2, and we have put a 2 in front of the compound where it belongs. This means sodium has increased by 2, thereby being 2 times 2. And this sodium, which is here, has nothing. So sodium here, 2 times 2, it is now 4, which means we're going to put a 4 here. And having done that, it means we've written a well-balanced chemical equation where sodium didn't have anything, and compared to this sodium, it had a 2. This oxygen had nothing, so we started by oxygen on the left is 2, oxygen on the right had nothing. So the same 2 here, we had to put it in front of the compound where oxygen belonged. But since sodium is part of the compound, it got affected and increased by 2, where 2 times 2 became 4, and the same 4 was written in front here. I hope you find this video very much beneficial.